Hello and welcome to Life Changing Tuition's Summer School 7. I'm Ethan and today we'll be going through an explanation of how to solve each question. Okay, so let's begin with comprehension. So this is asking for help again. So we'll begin by reading through the extract and then we'll answer the questions. So, asking for help again. Every year, Class 5 at my school go on a special 3-day coach trip to Paris, France. I had been looking forward to it all year when my teacher sent home the information and permission forms. However, my mum's face became stern. Jeremy, I can't sign these papers right now. I'm going to have to discuss this with your aunt. I felt crushed. I knew from experience that this could only mean one thing. My mum didn't have money to pay for the trip. I was so thrilled by the thought of the trip that I hadn't examined the forms very thoroughly. There must have been an exorbitant price tag in there that I had overlooked. My mum called my aunt and asked to borrow some money to cover the trip. At the end of my call, my mum's gratitude failed to hide the tension in her voice. I knew what this meant too. My aunt, who isn't exactly wealthy herself, could only lend us part of the sum, but not all. At the end of the week, when my classmates were turning in their completed paperwork to the teacher, I was empty-handed. I asked to speak to Miss Owen privately after class. I desperately want to go on this trip. I've been excited about it all year, I explained, but my family can't afford it right now. Miss Owen nodded. That's okay, Jeremy. The school has a special fund put aside for when things like this happen. Tell your mother to call me in this evening and we can discuss how much funding can be provided. It was hard for me to look my teacher in the eye. I was ashamed of having to accept loans and charity all the time. For once, I wished my family wouldn't have to worry about money. Thank you, Miss Owen, I mumbled, trying to keep my voice steady. We all want to be able to come on the trip, Jeremy, she assured me. I know we can make it happen. She smiled, but I didn't feel much like smiling back. Okay, so the narrator's class is going on a trip to. So here we can see it very explicitly in the first line or in the second line. It's Paris. So the answer is going to be B. I'll just circle this in red. And then number 2. In paragraph 3, the narrator says, I knew from experience that this could only mean one thing. From this, the reader can understand that, or A, the narrator needed his aunt's permission to go on a trip. B, his aunt would need to chaperone on the trip. C, the narrator's family has been in similar situations before. Or D, the narrator's mother is usually able to afford things they need. Okay, so this one is going to be C, because when they say I know from experience, it shows that they've been in a similar situation. So C. Next, number 3. As used in paragraph 3, the word exorbitant most nearly means A, too high or extreme, B, unjust or illegal, C, insignificant or very small, or D, neutral or impartial. So first we have to find where it is in the extract. So here it says an exorbitant price tag. So, and it's, what we can see is, maybe it means something very expensive, or in this case, a very high price tag. So this will be A. So question 3 is A. Next, question 4. The narrator's teacher says that Jeremy will still be able to go on the trip because A, she will lend his mother the rest of the money, B, she will find a new, lower price for him, C, the school can help pay for students in this situation, or D, he can take out a student loan from the government. So here we can see that the narrator says that they'll be able to go on the trip because they are able to help pay for students in this situation. So you can see here, they have the school has a special fund put aside for when things like this happen. So that means that the answer to question 4 will be C. C. Okay, question 5. At the end of the passage, Jeremy does not smile because A. He is angry at his teacher for insulting him. B. He is ashamed of his family situation. C. He is sad that he cannot go on the trip. Or D. He is jealous of his teacher's happiness. So this one is going to be B because he feels ashamed. So, we can see he didn't feel much like smiling back, and it's because he feels ashamed of the situation. And then question 6. Based on her words and actions, Miss Owen can be described as A. Crafty, B. Wealthy, C. Careless, or D. Compassionate. So this will be D. Compassionate, because you can see that she often cares about Jeremy, and she's trying to be very helpful and kind and compassionate. So let's move on to page 3. This is sleepwalking. So sleepwalking. Same thing, we'll read the abstract and then answer the questions. Okay, when I was 11 years old, I ate an entire frozen pizza while it was still frozen. I was not especially hungry. I did not do it because my brother dared me to do it. I actually had no idea why I did it. In fact, if it were not for the empty pizza box on the counter and a trail of crumbs leading back to my room, I would not actually know what had happened. I have no memory of doing this whatsoever. I was asleep the entire time. Sleepwalking, also known as somnambulism, can occur at any age, but it is most common for the ages of 4 to 12. Even though we call it sleepwalking, people who sleepwalk often do things besides walk in their sleep. Sleepwalkers may sit up, talk, clean the house, play video games, cook, or even drive. These activities can last anywhere from a few seconds to over half an hour. The next morning, they will not be able to remember any of it. For many years, people thought that sleepwalkers were simply acting out their dreams. But scientists have found that this is not the case. As we sleep, our brain goes through different stages. These stages can be divided into two main types, REM and non-REM sleep. REM stands for rapid eye movement. As you might have guessed from the name, during REM sleep, your eyes move quickly behind your eyelids. Your body is very still. This is when you are most likely to dream. During non-REM sleep, your brain settles down, allowing you to sleep more deeply. It is usually more difficult to wake someone up while he or she is in non-REM sleep. During non-REM sleep, your brain may be at rest, but your body is still active. Non-REM sleep is when we are most likely to toss, turn, or twitch in our sleep. The combination of a sleepy brain and an active body is what makes sleepwalking possible. This means that sleepwalking occurs during non-REM sleep when we are not dreaming. Therefore, sleepwalkers are probably not acting out their dreams. If sleepwalkers are not acting out their dreams, then what are they doing? Why would someone get out of bed, for example, and eat frozen pizza instead of staying in deep non-REM sleep? The truth is, no one really knows for sure. Scientists have yet to figure out why people sleepwalk, but they do have a few guesses. Since most sleepwalkers are children, some scientists believe that sleepwalking is caused by extreme amounts of activity in the brain. A child's brain develops much more quickly than an adult's brain. Children's brains also release growth hormones during sleep. Some scientists believe that these growth hormones may trigger something in the brain that causes sleepwalking. There are also some other factors that make someone more likely to sleepwalk. Sleepwalking can be genetic. This means that it can run in families. Stress, lack of sleep, illness, and taking certain medications can also make someone more likely to sleepwalk. If you or someone you know is a sleepwalker, there is probably no need to worry. Sleepwalking itself is not harmless, it is not harmful, and is not a sign of any serious medical problem. However, some people do occasionally harm themselves while sleepwalking. Sleepwalkers may use sharp tools, drive, fall downstairs, or do other hazardous things while they're asleep. Fortunately, there are a few things you can do in order to prevent any sleepwalking related injuries. First, it is important to keep a sleepwalker's environment safe. Put sharp or dangerous objects in hard to reach places, place gates in front of staircases, put alarms or extra locks on doors and windows. Next, if you notice that someone is sleepwalking, gently guide him back to bed. Although you will not harm a sleepwalker by waking him up, you may frighten him. When a sleepwalker is led back to bed, he'll probably go back to sleep with no memory of ever having gotten up in the first place. Even though sleepwalking is usually not dangerous, it can be bothersome. People who have trouble with sleepwalking should talk to a doctor to make sure that there are no other serious problems. There are drugs that a doctor can prescribe that might help with sleepwalking. Sleepwalkers can also try relaxation techniques, such as meditation or hypnosis. Another method that might work is called anticipatory awakening. Anticipatory awakening calls for the sleepwalker to be woken up right before he usually sleepwalks. For example, if a person usually sleepwalks at midnight, he or she can try setting an alarm for 11:45 p.m. The sleepwalker can then go back to sleep at 12:15 a.m. By staying awake through the usual sleepwalking period, the person will be able to avoid sleepwalking for the rest of the night. And let's now answer the question. So, according to the passage, sleepwalking occurs during REM sleep, during non-REM sleep, in between stages of sleep, or when we are dreaming. So we can see that it is during non-REM sleep, and this is said, well, it's mentioned in this paragraph when we're talking about non-REM sleep. So the answer to question 1 will be B. Okay, question 2. Which of the following would fit best if added to paragraph 6? So if you are a parent, brother, or sister who sleepwalks, you are nearly 10 times more likely to sleepwalk than someone who does not have a close relative who sleepwalks. Okay, let's see paragraph 6. So we can see this is 1, this is 2, 3, 4, 5, and this is 6. So we can see 6 talks about genetics, so the answer to question 2 is going to be A. Question 3. So in paragraph 7, it can be understood that the word hazardous belongs to which of the following groups? So the number 3 is going to be dangerous, unsafe, and risky. And then question 4, according to the passage, which should you do to help a sleepwalker stay safe? So block staircases, wake him up as quickly as possible, or help him get back to bed. So number 4 is going to be C, 1 and 3. And then number 5, according to the passage, anticipatory awakening is the scientific term for sleepwalking. No. What happens when a sleepwalker is awakened? By being frightened. The stage of sleep when the body is alert but your brain is sleepy, and a way to help someone stop sleepwalking. So number 5 is going to be D, a way to stop someone from sleepwalking. So generally speaking, a good conclusion will do 3 things. Remind the reader of the author's argument, summarize the reader's main idea, and leave the reader with something to think about. So this passage does not have a conclusion, but if it did, which of the following would constitute the best contribution to it? So this one, so we're looking for the 3 parts that make a good conclusion. So number 6 is going to be C. There are still many things we do not understand about sleepwalking. However, with more research, scientists may one day help people who sleepwalk and eat frozen pizza in their sleep. So yeah, number 6 will be C. Next, we are going to move on to proofreading, so spelling mistakes. So for this one, let's just begin reading. Okay, curiosity is our first spelling mistake. Okay, yeah, so curiosity should not have it should not have the second U. So it should be spelled as curiosity, like this. Is a useful feeling because it leads you to inquire and gain knowledge. Nobody knew what had happened. Happened is spelled incorrectly, so it should be Happpened. So happened to the two children that disappeared one day. Although Ella loves her family's support, she also values being independent. Independent is incorrect, so it should be spelled independent and replace the A with an E. Okay, at the zoo they saw koala bears, tigers, giraffes, and birds locked in cages. Okay, number 4. There's no spelling mistake here, so we can just write none. Number 5. The friends walked across the mountain to reach the temple on the other side. This is going to be across. Across should only have 1 C. And next, question 6. They laid flowers at the grave in the quiet and peaceful village cemetery. Cemetery is incorrect. It should be cemetery. It should have an E at the end rather than an A. Next, 7. Whales are able to quickly identify relevant sounds made by other whales in the ocean. Number 7 is relevant. So relevant should have an A at the end. So relevant. The sheer variety of sights, sounds, and colours in India is simply astonishing. Yes, so sheer shouldn't be sheer, S-H-E-A-R. It should be S-H-E-E-R. S-H-E-A-R is the shears used to shear sheep. But this is saying the sheer variety of sights, so it's S-H-E-E-R. Okay, number 9. The entrepreneur stated that his conscience will not allow him to complete the deal. This one, no mistake in this one, so none. Next, question 10. Crying tears of joy, the conductor sincerely. Sincere is incorrect there. It should be sincerely. And profusely thanked the audience. The saxophone player had been studying jazz music for more than a decade. This will be saxophone. Yes, a saxophone should be spelled as saxophone. So replace the second A with an O. 12. There was no doubt in mind that physics is spelled incorrectly, Physics, was the best subject to study. All the politicians assembled in the government building for the meeting. 13. Government. So there should be an. So after the R, there should be a N. So government. Next, 14. Katie was the only student in the class who wanted to be a soldier when she grew up. No mistake in this one. The poet detested writing verse that rhymed, and so she avoided it at all costs. This one would be rhymed. It should be RHYMED. 16 was able to quickly identify relevance. This one is the same. This already appeared in an early question, question 7, and the answer is same. So RELEVANT, relevant. Okay. Next, we move on to capital letter mistakes. So the Woodstock neighbourhood in Cape Town is famous for its industrial heritage. So Woodstock should have a capital W because it's a place. Next is question 2. So here I've yet to hear a valid reason to excuse your son's behaviour. Okay, I've yet to excuse your son's behaviour stated Miss. This one there is. This one has no mistake, so this will be none. And then question 3, the church is slightly to the west of the park, around 200 meters beyond the station. This one is going to be what west should be a small w, a lowercase w. And then question 4, Davina continued to stare in wonder at her polished, gleaming, one-of-a-kind ring. This one, polish, should have a comma after it because you're listing, or well, you're not listing, but you're mentioning more than one adjective. So, question 5. There's not much time left, wailed Christina. We need to act now before it's too late. So this one, you need, so question 5. You need an apostrophe here before it is too late. Question 6 is an apostrophe in there. So they are all planning to go to the club after the game to have dinner and socialise. Okay. Question 7. It was a cold, rainy day, and the children sat around gazing out the classroom window. So question 7 is going to be a comma after cold, a cold, rainy day. Question 8. It's been raining for hours, so this will be an apostrophe after it. It has been raining for hours. Question 9. They had spent the morning working on their history project work, and after that they took. So this one is going to be 9. No mistake in this one. So this will be none. Next, question 10. A test on mixed fractions. Now all they wanted to do was eat their lunch and run around. So this one is going to be fractions, so there shouldn't be an apostrophe. It should be just an S. So, I'll just cross that out. Okay, question 11. Letting off some steam. Roger and Minnie were trying to play chess in the book corner. So 11 is going to be there should be no comma. So chess in the book corner. Question 12. Nathan was so bored that he decided to continue working on his project. What a creep. So this one should have a capital W. Question 13. What do you think you're doing? Asked Tim. Haven't you done enough work already? So this one is an apostrophe after the N, and you should cross out the apostrophe that comes before it. 14. I've just thought, said Anne. We're supposed to be having games outside this afternoon. So 14 is going to be, well, there should be an apostrophe after thought. So I've just thought, said Anne. Oh, no. I've just thought, and there should be a full stop after what she said. And then 15, tick the box to the option that is punctuated incorrectly. So this one is going to be, it's going to be D because of the comma that comes after oh dear. This should be a full stop. Next, we are going to find page 8, which is here. Choose the best word. So the pupils in class 6 always have something, quiet reading session after lunch. So this one is going to be there. Finn something, his favourite game, into school to play with his friends. This one is going to be brought. And then 3, Hannah walked past the something instructions on the wall. So this one's going to be the written instructions. 4, the class recited the alphabet something. So this is all together. They recited the alphabet all together. 5, Zoe was excited to find that her granddad had been something to win a war journal. Her father had been referred to. So this is going to be referred to in a war journal. Next, the sun burned down something so this is going to be fiercely. It's going to be this one, fiercely, correct spelling. And then 7, so soldiers toiled carrying logs. So something toiled carrying logs. This is going to be soldiers, spelled correctly, it's spelled SOLDIERS. And planked to the something base where they, well, this will be main, MAIN. And then 9, would construct their something. First they dug deep, so this is going to be fort, spelled FORT. And then something in which they would place the largest. So this is going to be, well, holes, spelled, so they dug deep, holes, HOLES. And then the next one is going to be something of timber. These would hold up so this is going to be pieces of timber, so PIECES. Okay, so holding up the walls. These would hold up the walls. Next, they would something. So this is going to be attach. ATTACH. Oh no, that's the wrong one. So ATTACH. ATTACH, attach. 13, heavy floorboards to give something strength. So this is going to be more, spelled MORE. Then it's 14. Next, they would add the something. So this will be ceiling, CEILING. Then 15. The final part to go up would be the something roof. This will be massive roof. Okay. Now page 9. Punctuation errors. Okay. We're moving house tomorrow, so I can't get to any of my things. They're all packed into boxes. So this one is going to be... This one has no error. So none. Packed into boxes. Luxme, my older sister, is upset about moving because we're... So this is going to be comma after sister, going to a village. You're basically moving me to outer space, she said. So this one is going to be, well, space. So there could there's an exclamation mark that will come up after that. My mum called this a dramatic overreaction. So this is going to be, because it's only 2 miles away. So this one is going to be so because it's only 2 miles away, so there should be an apostrophe because it is only 2 miles away. I agree with Mum. The village sounds far better. There's loads of outer space or outdoor space. So 5 is going to be what? I agree with Mum. The village sounds far better. Well, there shouldn't be a colon because, so there shouldn't be a colon. So instead, the village sounds far better. There could be a semicolon with that one. The village sounds far better. Yeah. There's loads of outdoor space. A vast movement and a vast improvement on the tiny paved garden we've got at the moment. So question 6 is going to be semicolon. The main street has a sweet shop and my mum's room and my new room is bigger, which is the best thing. So after shop, well, there shouldn't be a semicolon there. Luxme is always focusing on negatives. I'm an optimist and I can't wait. So this one, there's none. Okay, next we're going to be looking at punctuation and capital letter mistakes again. So, question 1. Have you had your breakfast yet? Asked Jim's mum. So this one... it will be C because there's no punctuation after yet. And then 2 is going to be, so brought by Peter Jones last month, so it will be C because of the capital letters. 3 is he leaned his back against the rail and blew a puff of smoke in the air. So question 3 is A, it needs a capital H. Question 4, Richard's mother asked him if he wanted to go to the park. 4 is A because of the apostrophe after Richard. Richard's mother, so it's possessive. Kevin asked Mark, will you play football with me? So this one is going to be D because of the speech marks after me. And then 6, when the rain stopped, we went out to play football again. So 6 is comma after stopped, when the rain stopped, we went out to play football again. At the age of 18, he started his first job as a waiter. 7 is no mistake. 8, all of a sudden, he had a sharp pain in his stomach. 8 is going to be all of a sudden, comma, he had a sharp pain in his stomach. So all of a sudden, he had a sharp pain in his stomach. 9, I began to rub my eyes and pinch myself to see if it was a dream. So it will be D because of the full stop after dream. 10, he seems lonely, sad old man to me, said Andy. Well, this is going to be B because of a comma after lonely. So page 9, so let's find page 10. That's it. Okay, spelling error. So, the secret entrance to the spy quarters was situated beneath, so beneath should be Beneath Mrs. Wibble's bed of pink roses. One of the flowers contained a tiny fingerprinted device. Device should be spelled as DEVICE. Next, 3. Which authorized employees could use to gain access to the department. So access should have 2 C's. Access. Mrs. Wibble had been a lifelong associate of this particular spy organisation. So organisation is spelled correctly. Organisation. Next is question 5. Though in recent years her ailing health had made it necessary for her to retire. So this is going to be necessary. Necessary should only have 1 C. Necessary. Next, question 6. Gracefully at the age of 72. Gracefully should have 2 L's. Fondly by her colleagues, such as the time when she apprehended a villain using. So this one is going to be apprehended. Apprehended should have 2 P's, so APPREHENDED. So APPREHENDED, apprehended. Question 8. A deadly combination of a tea cozy, 2 knitting needles, and a leather handbag. So question 8 has no mistakes. So we can just write none. So we can write none. And then question 9. Many people are dissatisfied with the public transport system in our local area. So number 9 is system. Question 10. Their disappointment stems from the high fares and poorly maintained vehicles. Question 10 has no mistakes. And then question 11. What group of concerned citizens has written to the Parliament about the issue? In the 11 is Parliament. It should be spelled Parliament. And then 12. Hope that MPs will intervene to drastically improve the situation as pollution. So 12 is drastically. So drastically should be spelled DRASTICALLY. So drastically. Worsens. Public transport is becoming increasingly important in the fight to reduce. So this one, 13 has none. And then 14, the number of vehicles on the road. Said an official spokesperson for the group. So official should be spelled OFFICIAL with 1 L. And now let's move on to the next page. So page 11. Page 11. Here. Okay, choose the best words in the 2 passages below. So, dash hands is, are, when, was, am a popular pet among dog lovers with their. So, the answer to question 1 is going to be are. Elongated bodies and tiny features are hard to resist. So, it's going to be they are hard to resist. So 2 is they. Next, 3. Pardon me. Something name comes from the German for badger dog. So this is going to be their name, as they were originally bred something hunting badgers, but today, so question 4 is going to be 4, F-O-R, but today they are more likely to be seen frequenting a park, and their distinctive shape something earned them the nickname sausage dog. So has these little dogs something a lot of affection. So it'll be show a lot of affection. 7. Something they can be a bit stubborn. So there'll be however they can be a bit stubborn because it's a contrasting point. And then 8. Something can make training them a challenge. So it'll be which can make training them a challenge. Okay, then question 1. The ancient house that sat atop the hill, something rumoured. So this is going to be was rumoured. Then to be haunted. Kieran something resisted an adventure like this. So this is going to be couldn't. So he wandered something to the house. So it's going to be wandered over to the house. He knows he wasn't. So 4 is going to be he knew he wasn't. So yeah. Question 4 is going to be he knew he wasn't supposed to visit the house. So he crept discreetly up to something. So up to it. Or it's up to its front. It's because it's possessive. Because it's possessive and it's a feature of itself. So and came across a dusty hallway, which was empty, something for an old wardrobe. So went empty except for an old wardrobe. Next, Kieran hesitated, but then slowly began to creep something down the hall. So that's going to be further down the hall. Suddenly, the door slammed shut, and a key turn in the lock. So that'll be that he heard a key turn in the lock. So next, page 12. Now we begin negative numbers. So at midnight, the temperature in Belfast was minus 2 degrees Celsius, and at 9 a.m. the temperature was 5 degrees Celsius. So how many degrees did it rise? So this one, how we're going to do it is just 5 minus 2. Because we find the difference, and that's 7. So the answer is 7 degrees Celsius. I'll just reduce the font size. And Mr. Jones has minus £50 in his bank account. If he pays £70 in his bank account, how much will he now have in his account? So that's just minus 50 plus 70. And that gets the answer of, well, first we can add the 50, which gets a 0, and then it's 20. So the answer to question 2 is going to be £20. Ooh. Okay. Then 3. In the magic squares below, the numbers in any column, row or diagonal add up to give the same number. So complete each magic square. Okay, so how we can do this is, well, first we can find the total number of values that each row or column should have. So minus 4 plus minus 2 plus minus 9 will equal one of the things that we should have. So all we know is minus 4 plus minus 2, so minus 4 plus minus 2 plus minus 9. Okay, so then we can find the total of that. So we were minus 6, and then we had minus 9, so that'll be minus 15. So we know that it should add up to minus 15. So then we'll just write that down. So then we can see minus 2 and minus 6. So minus 2 plus minus 6 equals minus 8. So we can add on a minus 7 there. And then we see minus 8 and minus 6. So, minus 8 plus minus 6 equals minus 14. So then we can add minus 1. And then there's a minus 9 and a minus 1. So then we know that they'll have a minus 5 in the middle. And then minus 4 and minus 8 should have a 3. To all equal minus 15. And you can check like 3, 5, 7 or other combinations to just make sure that it does add up to 15. But then this next one, minus 3 plus 2 plus 1 will equal 2. Well, we can see that that'll equal to 0. So then minus 3 plus minus 1 is going to be minus 4. So then you need a 4 in the middle. And now we can find other combinations. So what we could do is, well, we know that if there is a 4 at the top, then we could have a 0 here, and then we'll need to have a minus 4 here. And if there's a 2 there, then we'll need to have a minus 2. And if there's a 1 and a minus 4, then we'll need a 3. And that should make, and that makes every column and row equal to 0. So work out the missing numbers. So something plus 3 equals 1. So this one we know that minus 2 plus 3 equals 1. B, 0 minus something equals 8. Well, this will be 0 minus 8. And then minus 6 plus something is minus 1. So that'll be minus 6 plus 5. And then something minus 5 is minus 13. So something minus 5 is minus 13. So D is going to be minus 8. Yep. And then E, so 9 minus something is 15. So that is going to be 9 minus 6. And then F, minus 2 minus something is 5. So minus 2 minus 7 is 5. And then question 5, write down 5 different additions that have the answer of 2, and you can use whole numbers only. Okay, so we're going to add numbers that equal 2. Okay, so what we could have is, 1 plus 1. And then we could also have, so these will have to be additions, so we could have minus 3. Oh, it's just lagging a little bit. Okay, minus 3. And then we can have plus. Ooh. plus 5. Oh, it's just being a little bit slow. Okay, and then we could also have minus 4 plus 6. Ooh. And then on top of that, you could then also have minus 1 plus 3. So let's try and write this down. Minus 4 plus 6. And then, yeah, on top of that, you could have minus 1 plus 3. Minus 1 plus 3. Or you could have minus 2 plus 4. So we're just taking negative numbers and numbers that are 2 more than it, so that when they add, they will equal 2. Okay, pardon me, question 6. Write down 5 subtractions that have the answer of 2. So now we're just doing the opposite. So you could do minus 1, minus 3. And remember, minus and minus equals a plus. So minus 3. Or you could also have 1 minus 1. Let's be very slow. Okay, 1 minus 1. You could also have minus 4 minus 6. Minus 4 minus 6. And then on top of that, you could also have minus 2. And then you could do minus 4. And then you could do minus 5 minus 7. So all of these are subtractions that will then give you an answer of positive 2. So minus 5 minus 7. Okay, next we move on to question 7. Below are 7 cards, each with a number written on it. So choose 2 suitable cards to make the calculation correct. So 7A can be minus 4 plus 6. So minus 4. And then 6. And then 2 cards that will give the smallest possible answer. So here we're trying to find 2 very small numbers. So that can be, 7B, that could then be minus 4 and minus 7. So what we're doing is, we're taking minus 4 and then subtracting it by the largest negative number, or you could then say the smallest negative number. So 2 cards that will give an answer of 0. So this is the positive and then the negative. So 4 and -4. So 4 and -4 will give us the 0. And then 2 cards that will give the greatest possible number. So this is going to be 6 and -7. Okay, so that was page 12. Page 13 is here. So there are the temperatures in cities. Okay, in towns on the same day. So which town has the highest temperature? So the highest temperature is going to be 12 degrees Celsius. So that's going to be Milton. So Milton, and then the lowest temperature is going to be Sandville. Okay, and then the temperature of Randallstown at the same time is 10 degrees Celsius colder than Leek. So what's the temperature of Randallstown? So that is going to be, well, 10 degrees colder than Leek, so -18. So with that, we can just write -18 degrees Celsius. Okay, 9. Shown below is a list of cities and their elevations. So a list of cities that are below sea level, so 0 meters. So that's going to be Georgetown, Amsterdam, New Orleans, and Salton City. So with this one, yeah, I'll just write down the starting letters. So that'll be G, just for the sake of space. So G, A, N, and S. And then which city has the lowest elevation? So the lowest elevation is going to be, well, the smallest number. So that's going to be Salton City. Okay, and then which city has the highest elevation? And that's going to be Paris. And then the difference between Georgetown and Dublin's elevation. So Georgetown is -2 and Dublin is 8. So what we can do here is just 8 minus -2. So 8 minus -2 equals 10. So the answer is going to be 10. Ooh. It is being quite slow. Okay, 10. Foreign rovers started I'll just increase the thickness of this. Okay, foreign rovers started a football season on -10 points. Each win is worth 3 points, each draw is worth 1 point, and each loss is worth 0 points. Over the season, foreign rovers won 11 matches, drew 6, and lost 3. So how many points did they finish with at the end of the season? So if they won 11, we add on 33. So that would then mean 23. So that is 23. Oh, it's really not responding. Okay, clear that. Ooh. Okay, so that's 23. Okay, and then they drew 6, so we add on 6. So then plus 6 is 29. Equals 29. Okay. So the answer to question 10 is going to be 29. Okay, next we move on to page 14. And this is probability. So the diagram shows a fair spinner. Which colour is the arrow most likely to land on? So it's most likely to land on yellow. Okay, and then mark the scale with an arrow to show the probability of landing on green. Okay, well, the probability of landing on green is, well, it's impossible because there's no green. So it'll be 0. So just mark it there. And then 2. So which word from the box best describes the likelihood of these events? So a newborn baby is a girl. You throw an ordinary dice and get 2. Okay, so a newborn baby is a girl. Well, that's a 50% chance, so it's even. So this one, you'll just say the answer is even. And then the chance of an ordinary dice getting 2 is, well, 1 out of 6. So what you're going to have to say for this one is, well, it's unlikely. It's not impossible, but it's unlikely because it's more likely that it isn't than it is. So, unlikely. Okay. 3. A fair 6-sided dice is thrown. The probabilities of the following events have been marked on the probability scale. So there's A, B, and C. And then we have to just write in the letter of where it would go. So a 6 is thrown would be here. It will be quite unlikely. And then a number 7, a number less than 7 is thrown, but that's 100% chance because all the numbers are less than 7. So here we'll just write A. And then through process of elimination, we learn the last one is C, but then we can still write C. So an odd number is thrown, so that's an even chance. So we'll write C. Next is 4. The following cards are placed in a box. A card is selected at random. Find the probability that the number on the card is, well, A, 3, or B, an odd number. So the chance that it's 3 is 1 over 6. Over 6, and then the chance that it's an odd number is 50%, so that'll be half, 1 over 2, or you could say 3 over 6 as well, but just remember to write it in a fraction. So 1 over 1 over 2. Next, number 5. A first spinner has 8 equal sections. The sections are labelled A, B, C, D, and E as shown below, and then the arrow is spun. Which is the most likely letter that the arrow will land on? So this is the one where there are the most letters. So the answer to question 5 is going to be A. Next, B. What is the probability that the arrow lands on a B? Well, it's 2 out of 8. So the answer to that will be, well, 1/4. 1/4. Ooh. So that'll be 1/4. Okay. And then what is the probability that the animal will land on an A? Well, that'll be 3 out of 8. Because there are 3 of the slices have an 8. 3 of the slices have an A out of the 8. So you'll just write it like this. 3/8. Okay. Next, we move on to page 15. And that is here. A bag contains 10 discs, and each disc is labelled with a different number from 1 to 10. And then a disc is chosen, and then the probability that sits in number 3. So here it'll be a 1 out of 10. So here you'll just write 1 and then over 10. Oh. So 1 over. Oh, it is very, very slow today. 1 over 10. Like that. Okay, and then a number less than 4. So here we just look at the number of numbers that's less than 4, and that's going to be 3. So this one is 3 out of 10. So you can just write it like this, 3, and then over 10. So this one is 3 over 10. And then a square number. So how many numbers are between 1 and 10 are squared? Well, there's 4 and there is 9. So this one is going to be 2 out of 10. Ooh. Oh no, there's also 1. So no, this one is also 3 out of 10. So there, 3 out of 10. Okay, and then a prime number. So prime numbers. So how many prime numbers are between 1 and 10? Well, there is 2. There's 3, 5. So that's 3, 2, 3, 5. 2, 3, 5. 7. So that will be 4. So that's 4 out of the 10. So you could simplify that to 2 over 5 as well. So whilst this is just writing down 4 over 10, okay. Sean has a box of pens. The box contains 6 blue pens, 8 black pens, and 4 red pens. So what's the probability that he will pick a blue pen? So what we do is we write 6. Oh. 6. And that'll be over what? 6 plus 8 plus 3. So 6. Plus 8 plus 3. So 6 plus 8 plus 3 is well. Then 8 plus 3 is 11, plus 6 is 17. So what you do is 6 over 17. Six over 17. Okay, so the answer to this will be 6 over 17. So, what is the probability that he will pick a green pen? So, green pen, now there'd be, well, green pen, there's no chance because there aren't any green pens. This one will be 0. Next, some more blue pens are added to the box. The probability of now selecting a blue pen is now half. So how many are there? Well, it needs to be half of the total. So if more of them are added, then we know that the total goes from 17, and then the number of blue pens added needs to then make total. So say if they add 5, that would then become 11 over 22. So 11 over 22 will be half, so the answer will be 5. So next we have Elizabeth has a bunch of red, yellow and white roses. She chooses a rose at random. The probability that she chooses a white rose is 0.1 and a yellow rose is 0.1 and a white one is 0.2. So what's the probability that Elizabeth chooses a rose that is either yellow or white? So that's 0.1 plus 0.2, which is 0.3. So this one is 0.3. And then what is the probability that Elizabeth chooses a red rose? Well, we know that the red will be the remaining, so it will be 0.7 because 1 minus 0.3 is 0.7. So C. There were 10 roses in the bunch originally, so how many were red? So that would be 7, because 0.7 out of 10 is 7. So now we move on to here, NVR codes. So we have Z, F, X, G, Y, H, and WG, and then our shape. So question 1. So how we're going to do this is we're going to be looking at what each letter represents. So we can see that Z, X, Y, and W are all different, and then we can see that the difference is between the shapes. And then F, G, H, G shows that shows the border. So the G represents a thick outer line. So from that we can see that because our shape has is a triangle, it's going to have Z. So we can cross out B, we can cross out D, and we can cross out E. So D and E. And then we look at the second letter, and our shape has a line around it, a thin line, so that means that the answer is going to, it will have a H, and that means the answer is A. Next is 2. So we have B, A, D, C, and that shows the difference between the inside of the shapes, so the number of shapes differs, and then we can see that the second letter, M, N, N, M, shows the colour. So our bottom number, or bottom letter, is going to be an M. So that means we can cross out A, B, and C. And then the top number, well, we can see that it's the option of either A or D. So because there are 2 circles, we would have A, D. And that means that the answer is E. Next, question 3. We have G, G, and H, and we can see that that is the size. So our top letter is going to be a H. So 3 is going to begin with a H. And then we can see that there is M, N, and O, and that shows the number of triangles, so there's going to be an N. So that means that the answer is H, N. Next, we can see that there is a H, H, I, and a J, so that shows the shape. So there's a diamond, so we can cross out I, so we can cross out C, D, and E, because they don't have an I at the top. And next, we are looking at there's S, T, T, and a U, and that shows the number of shapes. So there is 1 diamond, which means that number 4 is going to have the bottom number as an S. So that means that the answer is going to be B. If it just loads. Okay, there. So number 4 is going to be a B. It's going to be B. So 5. We have RU, or we have an R, A, N, R, and A. So the first letter represents the number of shapes. So we have 4, so it's going to begin with an N. So it's going to be either ND or NW. Next, we have U, W, M, D, and U. So we can see there's U, W, M, D, and U. Okay, so we can see that both of the U's have the same shape on the right side. So from that we can infer that there would be a D as our second letter. So the answer to question 5 will be A, because the second letter represents the pattern in the shape on the right. Next is 6. So we have J, M, J, and M. So that represents J, M, J, and M. So J, M, J, M. And then there's P, Q, A, and D. So the second letter represents there's a J, M, J, and M. Okay, so we can try to look for what's similar between option 1 and 3, because they both have J's, or even M and M. Like, what is similar between them? So we can see that M and M both have 4 sides on their shape, whereas J and J don't. So through that, we can say that our shape has a J on the top. But then we look at PQAT, we can see that that represents the symbol. So through that, the answer would be A. Okay, next is question 7. So question 7 we're looking at, well, okay, R, D, Z, P, and Z, and now we're looking at the first letter. So between both the shapes that start with a Z, we can see that both of their middle shapes have they're hashed. So through that, we can say that our first letter will be a D. So then we can look at the second letter. So we know that it could be C or E, so it would be Y or S. So the Y and the Y, they both have a square, they both have a rectangle on the outside. Then ours is a curved rectangle, so our answer will be E, D, S. Next, YS, Y, D, Y, E, and T. So both the Y shapes have a vertical rectangle. Oh, no. Both of the both of the Y shapes have a vertical rectangle, and then both of the S shapes have a circle. We have a diamond, so we can say that our word will end with an A, our code will end with an A. And then because of the horizontal rectangle, we can say that it could start with an E. Okay, Y and Y, they both have okay, so for 8, we know that it will be, well, it will end in an A because of the shape. So it's either TA or EA. So the difference between the T and the E is the placement. Okay, so because it's at the bottom of the rectangle, we know that it's going to be E, because both of the Y shapes, they have a vertical rectangle that crosses over at the baseline of the rectangle, or of the shape. So we know that it will be E because the rectangle is here, and then we also have a diamond here, and it's black. So from that, you can see like the line is there to throw you off, and it's there to make you think that there's another factor that will contribute to the answer, but no, it's just those two other parts. So now we can look at 9. So first we're going to look at all of the first letters and see what's similar about the codes that have the same first letter. So there's R, S, R, K, and H. So both of the R codes, or the R shapes, they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lines. So they both have 5 lines. Ours has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lines. And the other shape that has 6 lines is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the other shape that has 6 lines is going to be, well, no, it looks at the number of arrowheads. Okay, so 9, we can see that there's one double-headed arrow and then one normal arrow. And that is the same in RG and RD, so we can say that it will start with R. Then we can see that it's the only answer with an R, but then we can still check with B. So there's G, B, D, B, and G. So between the two G's, we can see that there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's looking at how many single arrows there are. Yes, it's looking at the number of single arrows. So then we can say that the answer is R, B, because it has one single arrow, which is why there's a B. And then the reason for the R is because of the number of lines. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. Okay, so then 10. There is P, A, P, B, and Q, C. So the P and the P looks at the rotation of the shape. So ours is going to start with a Q. Next, you look at the colours. So there's A, B, and C. We have white on the top and black on the bottom, so it will be QB, which is B. Next is LTG, MTH, and LUH. So 11, we are looking at the L and the L. They are both squares, so ours will start with an M. So the beginning letter for question 11 is going to be M, so we can cross out A, C, A and C. Okay, so then we're looking at, T, T, and U. So the T and the T both have triangles that cross over, so ours will be a U. So then we can cross out E. And then there's a G, H, and H. So that looks at the pattern, so ours will be a G. And that means that the answer will be D. Next, we look at question 12. So, question 12, here we have FTR, MPR, FWX, and QTX. So, F and F, we can see that F, these look at we can see RR and XX look at the direction of the arrow. So our word is going to end with a R, and there's only one that ends in an R, which is D. Okay, so next is 13. So 13, we have circles and they have crosses over them. So we can see that both B's have a cross and then the N's have an X. So ours will begin with an N. So it's either N-E-Z or N-E-Y. So let's look at the last letter because that's the differentiating factor. So we can see that the two Z's have triangles, the Y has a square and the O has a circle. We have a diamond, which seems more like the Y. So that means that the answer to 13 will be E. Next is 14. So 14, we have two circles. So that's R and R when they're next to each other, or it's P when they're further from each other. So P, N, P, Y, or P, Y. So then Y, O, and N are each of the patterns. We have vertical lines, which means that oh no, it's looking at the thickness, is it? No, Y, O, N is looking at the pattern. So our pattern will end with a R and okay, R and P is looking at the thickness of line. So ours will start with an R, and then the second letter will be an O because of the vertical lines. Next is 15. So 15, we have A, H, Y, and Y. So the Y's, okay, so the first letter, we'll be focusing on the pattern. We have vertical lines, which means our word will become with an A, and that gives us only one option, which is A. Okay, so next we can move on to 19. Okay, so here we're looking at word codes. So 4321 will mean something. So here we have 4362, 4521, and 1732. And then we have trap, port, pair, and tier. So we have T, two T's, and then two P's as the first letters. So from this we can see that the 4 could mean either P or T. But then we look at the second letter, so we can see that then we also have we have a 3 as the second letter, and then a 3 as the third letter. So that means that that is going to be A. So P is going to be 4, so 4 will be a P. And then 3 would then mean A. And then that would mean 2, well, because we have the port and the pair, 2 will be part. And then 1 will then be, well, because 5, 4, 2, 1, well, it will be T. So 1 will be T. So next we have terror. So terror, well, T will be a 1. T will be 1. And then E would then be a 7. And that would be the R is then 2, 2. So 2, and then 2. So 1, 7, 2. Oh, this is just loading. 1, 7, 2, 2. So terror, T-E-R-R-R. So 1, 7, 2, 2. Okay, that. And then O is going to be 3. And then R is going to be 2. Okay. So next we have 9571, 3519, 9841, and then sing, gain, gone, and song. So now we're finding the codes for soon and again. So it's going to be, well, we have S, S, G, and G. So that means that the first letter, well, we can see that then there is gain. So the third letter of gain is the same as the second letter in sing, which means that then, but then we also have the first letter of, or the second letter of gone is the same as the second letter of song. So it means that, then 9517, well, it means that 5 is going to be O. So then we have to find what the first letters are. So we know that they have the same third letters, which is both 1, but then one has 7, and then one has 9. So we know that song is going to be 3519, 3519, and then gone is going to be 9517. So then we're going to have, well, 9517 is gone, 3519 is soon. So then we have the first letter of soon is going to be 3, and then it will be 5, 5, because of the O. So 5, 5. And then N, well, N will then be 1. So it will be 3, 5, 5, 1. And then we have again. So again, well, because we know that gain is going to be 9,5. Oh, no, gain will then be 9,849. So we know that A is going to be the letter. Oh, we have 3,551. So A is going to be the letter 8. G is going to be the letter 9. A is then going to be the letter 8. I is then going to be the the number 4. And then N is going to be letter 1. So it'll be 8, 9, 8, 4, 1. Next, we then have shop and pinch. So shop and pinch, well, we have SHIP, CHOP, SHIN, CHIP. Okay, so we have the same first 3 letters for ship and shin. So that means that it can't be 849. So that means that 8467 and 8497 are going to be chip and chop. So because 349 is then the same, we can then tell that 8497 is going to be chip. 8497. And then 8467 is going to be chop. So 8467. And then that means that 3495 is then going to be either shin or ship. But because it ends in a 5, we know that it's going to be shin. So 3497. So 3, 4. So it'll be 3, 4. 3, 4. Oh, it's not loading. But yeah, it'll be 3, 4, 9, 5. So then we know that shop is going to be, well, it's going to begin with a 3. So yeah, shop is going to begin with a 3. And then H is going to be 4. And then it's going to be 6 and 7 because of O and P. So 3, 4, 6, and 7. And then pinch, well, P is going to be 7. I is going to be 9. C is going to be 8. Oh, no, well, 7, 9. 7, 9. 5 is going to be 5, and then 8. So 7, 9. So it's going to be 7, 9, and then, yeah, N is going to be 5. Oh, 7, 9, 5, 8, 4. 7, 9, 5, 8, 4. Okay, next we have find the code for the word clot. So clot, well, we have 7859 6132 4913. So we know that we can't have both meal and mel. So this means that clot, both, meal, mel. Well, there must be clot and both in one of these. So then we can see that there's 6132 and 4913. So the second and third letter of one word is the same as the third and the fourth letter of another. So we can see that that is going to be clot and both. So because there's OT at the end of clot, we know that the code for clot is then going to be 4913. Because the 1 and the 3 is at the end. And then the 1 and the 3 is at the middle of both, which is the O and the T. So 4913. So 491, as it just loads, 4913. 49. Oh, it's not loading. There. 1, 3. 4913. 4913. Oh, it's still loading. But yeah, so from that we know plot is 4913. I'll write that in when that'll slowly loading. So then we have 6132, and we need to find what that is. And because we know that 4913 is clock, we know that 6132 is going to be both. So here we just write both. Oh, this is also taking a while. Both. Okay. Next, we have to find the code for the word male. So we know that M, we can say that M is then going to be 7. So that's 7. And then we need to find the second word. So we know that A is currently unknown to us. But then we could say that A is then going to be if we look at then mil, we can see that there's L. So mil is going to end in A. And we know that L is a 9. So then we know that male is not going to be 7, 8, 5, 9. So it will be 5. And then L is then going to be, it's going to be 7, 5, and then L is going to be 9, and then E is going to be 8. So it's going to be 7, 5, 9, 8. Okay, so next we move on to page 20. So that is going to be here, 5. So we have belt, peak, leap, and take. So we're finding the code for the word belt, so we can see that one starts with 7, 5, and 6, and they all have a different first letter. So then we know that what we're trying to find is differences in the second few letters, or the second, third, and fourth letters. So we can see here that the second letter of one word is the second letter of another, and the last letter of another. So we can see that E is the case for that. So that means that E is going to be 4. And then the fourth letter of one word that has E as the second letter is going to have its fourth letter as the third letter of a word that has E as the last letter. So from that, we can then see that it is going to be, so it needs to have E as the second letter and its last letter. So that means that is going to be peak and take. So that means that peak is going to be the word that links here, and then take is going to link here. And then 6, 4, 3, 5 is then going to be what is going to have E as the second letter. 5 is then going to be T, so that would be belt. So that means that belt is going to be 6, 4, 3, 5. So we can just write that in here, 6, 4, 3, 5. Next is the word with the number code 7482. Well, that's then going to be peak. So you can just write peak. Okay, and then leap is going to be the last one where we have to use what we know. So L is going to be 3. E is going to be 4. A is 8. So it will be 3, 4, 8. So this is just going to load. And then P is going to be 7. So 3, 4, 8, 7. 3, 4, 8, 7. This is taking a while. 3, 4, 8, 7. Okay, this is really taking a long time. 3, 4, 8, 7. Okay, but whilst we're waiting for that, we can go on to question 6. Okay, so we have dumb, Mult, must, and dual. So 7542, 3589, and 7531. So we know that 75 is going to have to be dumb and dual because they have the same first two letters. So 7542 and 7531. Well, we know that 7 and 5 is going to be the D and the U. So then, now that we know that, we can tell that 7-5 is going to be a DU, so we know that U is going to be 5, so then must is going to be 3589 because 5 is in the second position. So must is 3589. This is also just loading. 3589. Okay, and then 7542. Well, we know that 7542 is, well, because of the... So here we have to find similarities. So the M of must is going to have a 3, and then the M of dumb is going to be third position. So 7531 is going to be dumb. And that means that 7542 is then going to be dual. So you can write the answer as dual because we know that it doesn't have a M in it. And then we're trying to find the code for the word molt. So, and also just start filling leap quickly. So that was 3487, that one. Okay, so now we're doing question 6, so molt. So molt is then going to begin with, well, we know that M is going to have a 3. And then A is going to have a 4. Ooh. 4. And then L will have L will be 2. So 3, 4, 2. And then the T will be 9. So 3, 4, 2, 9. Okay, next we have this, that, show, what. So here we can see the 3, 4. 3, 4 is going to be the start of two words that have the same first and second letters. So that'll be this and that. And then we can see that that is going to be 3, 4, 6, 3 because they have the same first and last letter. Then this is going to be 3, 4, 5, 1 because they have a different first and last letter. And then we know that 1 is going to begin another word, which is going to be show, and that's everything we know so far. So what's the code for this? Well, we know that this is going to be 3, 4, 5, 1. So we can write that in. 3, 4, 5, 1. And then Thor is going to be 3, 4, 6 because of that. And then it's going to be the last letter of show, so which is 7. So that's going to be 3, 4, 6, 7. So 3, 4, 6, 7. So 3, 4, 6, 7. And then 7, 6, 1, 4. So 7 is going to be W. 6 is A. 1 is S. And then 4 is H. So 7614 means wash. Okay, next, what's the code for stem? So here we can see that we have most, stem, does, and mode. So two words with the same first letter. So that's going to be the 6891 and the 6873. And then 9183 is a word that has the same third letter as one of the last letters of either most or mode. So from that you can see that mode has 3 as the last letter, 6891 is going to then be most, and then that means that does is going to be 9136 because of the E as its third letter. Okay, so then that leaves us with STEM. So STEM is then going to be okay, so mode has E there. No. Okay, no. We can't because STEM also has an E as the third letter. And then we can also see that the S of most is going to be a 9, and that's going to start our other words, which means that most is 6891, and then 9136 is STEM. So STEM is 9136. So 9136, that's a very good example of how they can trick you by putting similar letters in different places and then not making you think of another factor that will contribute to your answer. So then we have the code for moods. So moods is going to begin with a 6, and then O is going to be an 8. So it'll be 6, 8, 8. Just waiting for this to load. 6, 8, 8, and then D is going to be a 7. So it'll be 6, 8, 8, 7, and then S is 9. Next we have 9, 3, 3, 7, 9. So 9 is going to be our S. 3 is E, so that'll be S, E, E. So we have S, E, E. And then 7 is D. And then 9 is S. So it's going to be seeds. Next is the code for metal, teams, and then 374156. So here we can see that we have palm, last, rose, and meat. So palm, last, rose, and meat. So here what we can do is, identify that the second letter of one word is going to be the third of another and also the second of another word. So A is that word. Yeah, A is that word. Or A is that letter. So we know that A is going to be 4. So from there, we can say that A is going to be either, 1458 is going to be either palm or last. And then we can look at the L. So here we know that 1458 is going to be palm, and then last is going to be 5, 4, 3, 7, because the 5 is in the first place, is in the first position, and then 5 is in the third position for palm. But then we're left with 8, 6, 4, 7. So we know that 8, 6, 4, 7 is going to have A as the third letter, which means that it's going to be meat. So now we have to find metal. So M is going to be 8. So the first letter is first number is 8. E is going to be 6. T is 7. So it's going to be 8, 6, 7. And then A is 4. And L is 5. So 8, 6, 7, 4, 5. So just waiting for it to load. 8, 6, 7, 4, 5. Okay, and then whilst that's loading, we can then look at teams. So teams is going to have T, which is going to be 7, and then E, which is 6, A, which is going to be 4, so 7, 6, 4, and then M, which is 8, and S, which is 3. So 7, 6, 4, 8, 3. 7, 6, 4, and whilst it's loading, that 8 and 3, 7, 6, 4, 8, 3. So then we can look at 3, 7, 4, 1, 5, 6. So 3 is going to be S. Oh, I'll just quickly write this in. Okay, 76483. Okay. Just trying to fill this one in. 76483. We'll just wait for this. Okay, well, 76483 is the answer for that. Okay, so next we have 374156. So yeah, 3 is S, 7 is T, so ST. Okay, so now we can move on to this bit. So 374156 is going to be a ST, and then 4 is going to be A, so ST A, and then 1 is P, so STAP, so STAP, and then that'll be LE. Yeah, so STAPLE, so S is 3, 7 is T, 4 is A, 1 is P, 5 is L, and then 6 is E. Okay, so now we can move on to the last part. So crackle. So here we have 9825, 9635, and 6812. So 9 will represent either L or C, and we know that because there are 2 words with the L as the first letter and 2 words with C as the first letter. But then the 2 words must end in the same last letter, which is the case for both. And then the middle 2 letters must be different to each other. So now we are looking at, okay, so yeah, that is the case for all of them. But then the third letter of one is going to be the same as the last letter of another word with a different first letter. So here we can look at, well, for example, cake. So the K could be the last letter of the other 2. And then that means that the U of clue is not the last letter of either. The C of luck is not. The R is not. So that means that cake is going to be 9825. It means that clue is then going to be 9635. And therefore 6812 is going to be luck because of the 8, which is our A. So then crackle is going to begin with a 9. So crackle will begin with a 9. And then R is going to be 1. And then A will be 8. So here we have 918, and then that's 9265. So 918, 9. I'm going to have to join this because I've realised that stops it from loading. But yeah, so 91892665. And then we have recall. So recall now will begin with a 1. E is going to be 5. C will be 9. So okay, we have R, which is so R, which is 1. So we have 1, 5, 9, 8, 6, 6. So 915866. So I don't know. 1598666. Okay. So 1, 5, and then okay, it's loading. 159866. Okay, 159866. And the top one is 9189265. So yeah, 159866. Okay. 96581 now. So the 9 is going to be C, 6 is going to be L, so CL. I'll begin writing this down. And then 5 is going to be E, so CLE. And then 8 is A, and 1 is R. Okay, so after lots of very laggy ink, I hope they will not happen next time. That will be, oh no, not the end. Okay, last one. Word analogies. Okay, so glance is to something as flip is to something else. So glance is to lance as flip is to lip, because you're removing the first letter. So glance is to lance as flip is to lip. Okay, and then we have angler is to something as cricketer is to something. So that will be angler is to rod as cricketer is to a bat. So an angler uses a rod like a cricketer uses a bat. Okay, and then stop is to something as knife is to something. So this will mean that stop is to pots, because it's the opposite, as knife is to stab. I don't know. It'll be stop is to pause, because that's what it's what you're doing when you're stopping. But then with a knife, you might stab. Okay. Next, pen is to something as brush is to something. So this will be pen is to ink as brush is to paint. So these are both, very similar. With a pen, you're using ink. With a brush, you are using paint. So it's what you're drawing with. So next we're looking at flute is to something as guitar is to something. So flute is to blow as guitar is to pluck. So like you blow a flute, you pluck a guitar. And then letter is to something as digit is to something. So letter will be to word as digit is to number, because when you put more than one letter together, you get a word, and when you put more than one digit together, you get a number. So over is to something as enter is to something. So over is to under as enter is to exit. So they are opposites. So when something that's over, well, the antonym would be under. The antonym of enter is then exit. So racket is to something as stick is to something. So racket to badminton could be stick to hockey. So what you use in, so you use a racket in badminton like you use a stick in hockey. So you have a badminton racket and a hockey stick. So then 9. Ball is to something as bird is to something. So ball is to shoot as bird is to fly. So a ball will shoot like how a bird will fly. So next we have fashion is to something as bet is to something. So fashion is to, so fashion trend, and bet is wager. So yeah, fashion is a trend as bet is to wager. So those are both terminologies within those categories. So, within fashion you have many trends, or within betting you will have wagers. So clear, so that was quite an abstract one. But yeah, clear is to something as late is to something. So clear is to cloudy as late is to early. So they're both antonyms, they're opposite in meaning. And then 12. Rush is to something as adequate is to something. So rush is to dawdle as adequate is to inadequate. So those are both antonyms. Okay, so that is the end, I believe. Yep. Okay, so thank you very much for watching. This has been Summer School 7, and I've been Ethan. I apologise for the very laggy ink. I really hope it won't be like that next time, but we got through it. So, make sure you keep practicing your words. It's very important to know, especially for, your vocabulary in word analogies. So I hope you have a very good day, and I'll see you next time.